Welcome to Business Success Navigators, brought to you by Empowering Business Inc. I'm Robyn Scobey, and I'm here with Darryl. Darryl, can you introduce yourself, please?
My name is Darryl Olsen, and I am the new commissioner of the Canadian American Junior Hockey League.
Wonderful. So is the CHJHL, which is the abbreviation, is that a somewhat new league?
It's been around for two years. So I believe this is their third year. But they used to be involved with what's called the Western States Hockey League. So that was based out of, I think somewhere in Montana. But anyways, with the costs and everything, they just couldn't afford to keep going down to the States. So these guys started the CAJHL with the direction of advancement of players, right? And they want to develop kids to go to school in the States or in Canada. That's their goal, 16 to 20-year-olds. And, obviously we want to grow this thing because it's all up north right now. So we want to grow it in the South. And then obviously we want to move into the States and BC and Saskatchewan eventually.
Right. And when you say up north, you're still meaning like northern Alberta.
Yeah.
There's Barrhead, Cold Lake, Hinton, and Vegreville.
And now we have a team in Stavely.
Right.
Yeah. So we're always looking for growth, you know what I mean? Like teams and opportunities for people that want to become a part of our league. So, like you said, there's growing pains, especially with your annual operations and, finding kids or recruiting kids. There's so many leagues out there today. What we're looking for is kids that want to play for us, want to play in our league, right? Not, oh, I have to go play there. No, we're a serious league, and we want to grow and expand and be powerful.
Mm-hmm. And what kind of kids are you looking for? Obviously hockey players.
Yeah. But you know what? Like 16 to 20-year-olds and kids that are passionate about moving on and moving forward, right? The kids that maybe didn't get that chance that they thought they were going to get, whether it would be at a AA level or a AAA level. Obviously, you still have to be a player to play in this league. We're not going to put someone out there that just fills a roster spot and may get hurt. You still have to be a player, and you still want to come and improve and get better. And, you have to have respect for your billets because you're billeted out. And I fell in love with it right from the beginning. I thought what they were doing and where they were headed was fantastic. And I interviewed a few times. And then when they called me and told me I got the job, I was shocked. But it's something I'm very passionate about. I have been for years. You know what? I started a business in Utah, of all places, and we grew that business from 5-year-olds to 18-year-olds. And that was all about growth and development and playing at the highest levels. So, I like what these guys are doing for the kids.
And this is a tier or a junior A team, is that correct?
Junior A, tier 2. Yep. Yeah. So we're actually competing with the Alberta Junior Hockey League for players. So they can say some bad words about us, but you know what? In the end of the day, we're doing what's right for the kids.
Mm-hmm. And with the CAJHL, so you said they're billeted. So where do most of your players come from?
God, all over. We got kids from the Ukraine, we got kids from Sweden, we got kids from the States. But the majority, I guess, up north would be Edmonton and the surrounding areas. And naturally the hometown, right? If you got a player that's good enough to make it in the hometown, you're going to utilize that player because it brings not only revenue, but it brings the fans into the stands. So you're always looking for those hometown boys.
Mm-hmm. Isn't that the truth? Let's be honest, I have a son that plays in the CAJHL. I was really shocked to see the level of hockey that he is playing. And not only that, but the amount of revenue that comes into each of those communities by having one of these teams. So you talked about the billet families. So you're helping families who are also taking in boys, young men. what other areas? I know there's some sponsorships that are involved and.
Oh yeah, we're always looking for sponsorship, right? You know, and I'm sure you know how hard that game is because everyone's looking for a free handout, right? But it's just about building relationships, especially in the towns that you're in. And you know, these little towns that are bringing these teams in, they love them because it gives them something to do on a Friday or Saturday. They can go watch the hockey, and you know, like you said, they're bringing in revenue to the arenas. But yeah, we're always looking for sponsorship.
Mhm.
That's how a lot of these teams work, right? Each team goes out and finds their own sponsors.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I know, like, as I'm traveling to watch my son play, I'm eating in the communities before the games often, and I'm quite often getting hotel rooms. Like that economy, just to the community itself, is a huge boost.
Oh yeah. Yep. And
Mhm.
that's why these guys do it. You know, it's these a lot of these owners, you know, they have two jobs. They're working while they're taking care of their team, and it's a lot of responsibility, especially when you're finding billets and making sure that the kids being respectful and making sure that they're being paid, and you know the cost to play hockey. Obviously, it's a huge business, especially when you're running another, like we have a construction owner, we have a financial planner, like those guys are busy people.
Mhm. So each team is owned by somebody then, or
Each team is individually owned.
okay. And why would somebody join the CAJHL versus a different, like if I was an owner, why would I go look for the CAJHL?
Well, number one, I've told kids all along, go where they want you. You know what I mean? Like you can go to other junior leagues and you get at the end of the season you get a mass emailer, right? And they're like, "Oh, come try out, come try out." A lot of those are just money makers for that team, right? But like if you have someone that wants to sign you and is going to develop you, I think that's a great place to be.
Okay. So currently you have the 5 teams in the league. How
Yep.
big do you want to grow this league?
We want to be at 10 in the next 2 years. We've got other teams that are interested right now, so we're just going through the vetting process with them, and they'll probably be in the league next year. But you know what? Like we want to grow, and like I said, we want to grow south. So we'd like to eventually. We already have that northern division. We want to have a southern division, and then we want to try and eventually go into America and have an American division.
Okay, and is that where the Canadian American Junior Hockey League comes from then?
Yeah. Well, and that's you know Canadian American because we you have a lot of Americans come up and play with us, but you know what? Like I said, we've got kids from Czechoslovakia, Ukraine, Sweden, you know, all over the place that want to come and play junior A hockey. And that's a fun experience too, because these kids can barely speak English.
That would be a huge transition and
Yeah. But it's fun, you know what I mean? Like you're making relationships, and these billets are getting to know these kids from the Ukraine or from wherever. And it's just a wonderful experience for everyone.
mhm. So then we always hear about reffing and how that is.
Yeah.
So does the CAJHL have its own set of refs? Like how does that work with
Yeah.
them as well?
We have a referee in chief, and I believe he's based out of Edmonton, but he has a list of referees. I think he's got over 50 referees on his list, and you know, he has his own scheduling process, and he has to make sure that the referees are in place for the games. You know, and if they travel, the team that is the home team has to feed them before they head home. So yeah, they're getting paid, they're getting fed, and we have an unreal referee in chief that's doing a great job.
Mhm. And because you said at the very beginning that you are competing with like, was it minor hockey? No,
No,
junior, Alberta junior
Alberta,
hockey.
yeah, Alberta Junior Hockey League, and a
So,
lot of those teams, you know, I mean, like they've been around for a long time. They've got a lot of money backing them, so that looks more appealing to someone that you know you're playing in a big rink and it's all fancy. They get a lot of fans, and we do too. It's just a different place to play.
mhm. I'll be honest, I've been to Hinton, Barhead, Vegreville, and Cold Lake to watch games. Haven't been to the south yet. That's, I believe, coming up in November for us, but
Yeah.
I'm amazed at how many fans come out.
Yeah. Well, it's like I've been working with Stavely quite a bit, and the rink manager, he's like, the town is so excited to have this team. You know, again, it gives them something to do, gets them out meeting and greeting their neighbors, and it's just a wonderful experience for all.
Yeah. It's just, to me, it was just amazing to see that community all come together, and they're all so respectful and so different. And
The Cold Lake's got one hell of a program.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So
Actually, a really good job.
what else can you tell me that makes the CHHL more unique than others? Because I know there's a lot of different leagues in Alberta.
Well, I think the biggest thing is, just getting to know all the owners and the coaches. It's how can I say this? There's a lot of teams, a lot of coaches and owners that are only in it for the money, right? They don't care about the kid. They just want to get their paycheck, and they don't develop them. I know every one of these guys, and every one of these guys want nothing but the best for these kids, and they want to help them get a scholarship, move on to whether it's a Canadian school or find a job. And it's tough to find people like that.
So you just brought up a whole nother part. So what happens to these kids once they age out? Because you said this is to 20 or 21.
20. Yeah. And by that time, either they've made that decision that they're going to move on to a school, or they're going to find a job. 16 to 20 is a great time of their life.
So where do they move on to from here? What's the next step for
They
these
can
kids?
move on to SAIT, NAIT, Concordia, all those schools in the surrounding area. Or if they're good enough, they could be vetted by an American school, whether it be Division I or Division III NCAA. There's just a lot of options. But again, like that's another thing that we're trying to do, is we're trying to get the Americans up to come and watch these kids, right? To find out if they are good enough for a Division I scholarship, or like I said, the universities here in Alberta, we want to get them out to watch these kids. So it's a process. You got to follow the process, and they got to believe in their coaches and their owners that they're going to try to help them, right? And if the ones that aren't good enough after 20, they got to make a decision on their own too, right? They might have to go get a job and start a new life.
Pardon me?
And start a new life.
Because it's not even just hockey. Like, again, with my son, I have watched him in the last 8 weeks go from being just this little child to he's now being active in the community and volunteering. And it's more than just hockey at this level.
Yep. Well, and that's, what? I lived the life. I played junior in the Alberta Junior Hockey League. I got a scholarship to an American school. I was drafted. I played pro. And you know what? It's amazing when you send your kids away, they come back a totally different kid. They have more respect. They've got morals, and it's more than hockey.
And that's all accredited to the owners, I think, and the coaches, as well as the CHHL putting on some of these, what to expect and what your guys' expectations of each team are.
Yeah. Well, and that's another life learning lesson, right? You take away from more than just playing the game of hockey. You take away the respect, the factors that, you're living in someone else's home. You have to respect that. If they have children, you have to respect their children. Like I said to everyone, you know what? When your kid comes home at Christmas, he's going to be a totally different kid. And I love that about, I think any sport, right? Any sport where there's discipline, respect, morals that you can get from that. I think playing sports is a great way to grow up.
It really is. There's no words to it. Learning to be a team player, learning to take direction is all huge. Those are life skills that you can't teach doing playing at the playground or just playing street hockey. Like those
Yeah.
are all things that organized sports absolutely teaches.
It sets you up for your life skills too, you know what I mean? Like when you come out and say you're done at 20, you still have the work ethic and the desire to find a good job instead of just wandering around aimlessly, right? Like you feed off of that respect, you feed off of that direction from your coaches. And that's again that takes it a long way for the rest of your life. You'll always have that.
Mhm. Now, I know some people have been talking about, do you guys have the same rules for hockey as other, or do you guys have different rules? And I don't know the right terminology for this.
No, everybody plays off of the same rules. Like it's pretty tough to go off the road and make up your own rules. You know, like they've been a set for how many years,
Mhm.
right? So if there's anything, I think if there's anything as far as rules are concerned, maybe teams have different rules, right? That might be the only thing. But when it comes to the standard hockey rules, everyone's pretty much the same.
Okay. So there's really, I guess what I'm trying to ask more is with the CAJHL, you're playing by the same rules, you have the same morals, the same ethics, and you're just kind of the 5 teams. So it really shouldn't be hard to keep growing it and make it into the 10 teams like you're hoping within the next couple of years.
We don't think so. You know what I mean? Like we obviously trying to find new owners. You know, that's a tough one. But no, we believe in our process. We believe in the expansion. We believe in that we're doing what's right for the kids. And every league's going to tell you that too, right? But it's just having coaches that will get out there and recruit and talk to these kids. And again, like I said from the beginning, go where they want you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, don't go to all these other camps and you pay $250. You got to pay a hotel, you got, your gas, all that. When, unless you're in the top 10%, you're probably not going to make it.
Right.
But if you have somebody from the CAJHL that's all over you, that's as a coach, and he wants to sit down and sign you for next season, you know what? You can always grow, right? If you're good enough, they'll find you, right? So, like I said, it's a process. I tell a lot of people it's like a yellow brick road. Just stay on the road, right? If there's good people out there, they'll help you find your way to whether it be a university, a college, advancing to something, maybe playing pro at a lower level. Like there's just a lot of avenues. If you're motivated, you're a good kid, you show respect and commitment.
Those are the big ones, aren't they?
Yeah.
Show commitment, good attitude. And those are things that take you right through life. So these are not just, again, not just hockey skills. They are life skills that we're teaching these boys, men.
Especially when they come out of Bantam and there's just so many distractions, right? Like the toughest thing for anyone today is to find a hardworking kid because all those kids want to do is what they got their car, then there's girls, then there's booze, right? There's
Mhm.
so many avenues that can pull you away from your dreams. And it's hard, once you fall off that yellow brick road, it's hard to get back on it. And we see a lot of good players that again, they take the wrong path. And by the time they know it, they're 20 and they're like, oh, I should have listened. I should have listened. Right. So you see a lot of kids go off the wrong path.
Yeah. So if any of our listeners are looking at being an owner or want to move their team into the CAJHL, how would they contact you?
Go to our website and it is, should be right here.
Like
you know
just
what?
the
Contact me.
CAJHL.com?
Yeah, CAJHL.com. Or they can contact me, commissioner at CAJHL.com. So it's pretty basic. And if you go to the website, you can see like all the staff and all the coaches and I'm sure you've been on it.
Absolutely. It's an easy website to navigate. So
Yeah. Yeah, but if like I said, if anybody has questions about the league or anything, they can contact me directly, or through one of the other teams.
mhm. And I'm going to be honest again, because that's who I am. I've had nothing but good experience so far with the CAJHL. I know I'm still new, still trying to navigate it and understand it, but it's been a really lovely experience.
Yeah, it is. And like I said, you know what? These owners care. That's the best part. You know what I mean? Like when I sit down with them for meetings, you can just tell that, you know, they're doing it for the right reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Because there are people out there that are doing it for the wrong reasons, and you can tell right away. So those are the people you do not want to get involved with, right?
Yeah. So, well, thank you very much, Darryl, for taking your time today and having this conversation with me.
Anytime. And I'm sure we'll see you somewhere around.